Welcome back. Democrats are now accusing House Republicans of releasing the full transcript of Devon Archer's testimony yesterday to distract from President Trump's arraignment. The transcripts show Archer told the House Oversight Committee that Hunter Biden would not overtly say, quote, "We're going to use my father for a deal." Instead, he would use then Vice President Joe Biden and the brand as, quote, defensive leverage. Meanwhile, an Axios article is pointing out the timing of Trump's indictment and how it is blocking some of Biden's recent, quote, bad news. I spoke with Tennessee Congressman Andy Ogles about this earlier in the program. Here's what he said.
Is driving the narrative. It's Trump, 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 all day Trump. Meanwhile, we could start impeachment hearings. We could start rolling out this evidence. It would be covered 24/7. And then the people, the American people would know the corruption that is the Biden family.
Krisha, it's pretty clear that all of this is timed right on the face of when we get bad news on the Biden family influence peddling. As soon as we saw the Devon Archer get ready for his testimony, Trump gets indicted, and this has happened over and over again. Your reaction?
What the Democrats are doing, calling this a distraction, is exactly what they want us to think. And they're always on the offense. And it's the exact opposite, actually, because every time, to your point, there is an investigation about Hunter Biden or any sort of something that they find distasteful with respect to what's come out about the facts of what's occurred, they really go on the offense. And it's problematic here because we all know the truth. There's overwhelming amount of evidence. And at this point, the House should start their inquiry into an impeachment. And again, it's the timing of this. It's one after the next. Every time there's a Hunter Biden investigation, there is a Trump indictment. And that's really the distraction here more than anything else. It's unbelievable.
Absolutely. Yeah, and we all know that. Kelly, oftentimes what the Democrats do is they charge the Republicans with actually what they're actually doing.
Oh, that's right. And you can see the fact that they're accusing the GOP of releasing this transcript to distract. Well, that's because there was important information in this. And I just want to give you my takeaway. The most important thing that came out of this for me was a phone call that Hunter Biden made to his dad after the Burisma executives asked for help from Washington to help them with the pressure that they were receiving in that investigation. And Devon Archer says, well, I wasn't privy to that phone call. So for me, I'm saying, OK, well, the follow up is what's on that phone call. So it's no wonder that the Democrats are saying, oh, you know, you're trying to distract, because there is something that we should be distracted with here, Maria.
And John, why would then Vice President Biden call into business meetings with Hunter and foreign partners 20 times? 20 times, which is the number that Devon Archer said he was on speakerphone in these meetings.
Well, he wanted to make it clear in a quiet manner that the vice president stood behind his son, Hunter Biden, that Hunter Biden indeed had leverage to use in the White House. So even though he didn't come out and talk specifically about the deals being involved, it was implicit that he would lend support to what Hunter Biden wanted to do for Burisma.
Yeah, and I mean, Kelly, there's a reason that they released this transcript, because Kevin McCarthy has been trying to ensure that the public understands what they have found out, that the public understands that there could be criminality here. There's a debate on whether or not to impeach Joe Biden. But what the speaker said recently was that this could rise to the level of an inquiry. The inquiry, I guess, gives you more opportunity to investigate, which is what a lot of people would like to see.
I think you're exactly right. And, you know, all week you've been holding Republicans' feet to the fire and Democrats about what have they found? Because I do think the American people are questioning, after the Republicans took over the House and there were all of these promises that there was going to be transparency about what happened with the Hunter Biden laptop, what happened with these business dealings. And so the fact that we could get more information, and the fact that, you know, they released this transcript to show, you know, we are making steps, is really important as you move into that 2024 election.
Yeah, well, we'll be watching that. We're going to take a break.